So, Steve, thank you for taking the time to talk to me this morning. You're Chief Executive of Auto.com, an online marketplace. Can you tell us a little bit more about your company?
Yeah, sure. Auto.com is, we think, a revolution in shopping, in that it's completely flipping the usual model that the consumer goes through. They arrive at Auto.com, they tell us what they'd like to buy, TV, digital camera, kids bike, whatever it might be. They create a listing for that, and then our UK-only registered retailers submit offers against that listing. So at the end of the day, the consumer sees their product they've chosen to buy, a whole series of offers against it from retailers, and they can choose to buy one of those offers or indeed none of those offers. And we think that's a pretty revolutionary way to shop.
So why have you decided to use virtual assistants on the site?
Well, I think that revolution will typically create questions because it is new. Consumers and retailers alike will have questions as they're navigating through the site. And we'd like those questions to be answered as they're being asked. And the majority of online retail sites, you submit a question and 24 hours later you'll get an answer via email. We want people to remain engaged, and we therefore felt that being able to ask a question to a virtual assistant and being able to answer the question real time there and then will keep them engaged, keep them on the site, keep them transacting. And so for us it was really a no-brainer as a new innovative way to shop to use an innovative way to deal with customer and retailer inquiries.
Well, that sounds great for Auto's users. What are the business benefits for you?
I would say that two or three major benefits. Clearly, as a new startup business, cost is important to us. But I would say primarily the reason why we went down the route of using virtual assistants is because we want the user to be engaged. We want the user to have a good experience and come back time and time again. And the same with the retailer. So the business benefits, number one, is the more time the consumer can be on the site transacting, the more income I will make, driving profit to my bottom line, number one. Number two is cost, of course. To hire customer service assistants who can answer these questions 24 hours, 7 days a week, I'd have a team, a whole warehouse full of customer service people just answering incoming calls or emails. And so there's a huge cost benefit in using a virtual assistant to deal with high volume, low value questions and allowing my personal consumer individuals, my consumer service executives, to answer the high value questions from retailers or consumers as a human being would.
Are there other less tangible benefits?
Yes, from our point of view, they I think come in two or three key areas. Number one is really the market intelligence we can gather from the back office database that sits behind the virtual assistant allows us to interrogate what questions the consumer and retailer are asking, what themes, what threads are being asked, allows us to refine our site and our functionality accordingly. It also, of course, allows us to market to them. So if we're seeing a particular question is constantly about the price of shipping, for example, we can do some very specific marketing and communication activity to consumers and retailers about the price of shipping. And we couldn't do that if we were just using human beings as customer service executives. It would take a long time to trawl that data, use that data, and market as a result of that data. And we think this is a much more effective and efficient way to do that.
So I believe that you have not just one but two virtual assistants who each have their own personality.
Yeah.
How did you go about sort of choosing these, and do they fit in with the company profile?
Yeah. We chose a female, Kate, to work with our consumers and a male, Matt, to work with our retailers. The Selfservice Company who built our virtual assistants for us worked very hard with us to ensure that the images we chose matched the personality of the site, because obviously from a consumer perspective we want someone that's non-threatening, that's honest, has integrity, and so we felt that Kate as an actress matched that profile well. And Matt, we felt, many more of our retailers happen to be males, and we felt they might, relate better to an honest-looking guy. And so, yeah, we chose them very carefully. We chose them with the Selfservice Company to ensure that they matched the personality of the site for the consumer perspective and for the retailer.
Well, I can see how the virtual assistants might help to, provide a sort of positive experience for users, and it puts a human face to it as well, and not just dealing with, a screen. But that's only going to work if the answers that they give are correct. How can you measure this?
Yeah. No, you're right, and that was a concern for us because obviously, nothing is ever going to replace human-to-human contact, and we don't plan to do that either. But certainly, we worked alongside the Self-Service Company who worked for a long period of time to train their virtual assistant to ensure a high level of accuracy. So at the moment, we're delivering, 90% plus accuracy, and we can track that by the data we get back from the Self-Service Company, who tell us that, each question that's answered is being answered at 95% accuracy or 93%, whatever that might be. So we get data back from them that allows us to track accuracy. Of course, we can also track by looking and analysing at what the retailer or consumer does next. So the analytics we have on the site and the Self-Service Company have sitting behind the site allows us to say, well, the question was answered to 93% accuracy, for example. They then went and acted accordingly based on the answer they were given. And so we have two real tools to allow us to measure that, and we're very happy with the results.
Well, that's great, but it sounds like an awful lot of work. How did you resource it?
You know what, it wasn't a lot of work, Nikki. Clearly there's some work up front to work with the Self-Service Company to agree style, to agree design, to agree look and feel. But that, that's a few hours work huddled in a meeting room agreeing what we wanted to look and feel like. The vast majority of the work is done by the Self-Service Company. They build the application, they train their software to work, and they in effect just deliver us a finished product, and our only effort really is to ensure we're happy with it. So I would say that that it was surprisingly small amount of work. I would say probably no more than 10 or 15 hours work from our point of view. All the rest of the development and build was done by the Self-Service Company, so it really didn't hinder on our ability to develop other things we wanted to do as a startup business. They did it all for us.
What made you choose the Self-Service Company?
We thought they were nice guys, number one. We met with a lot of companies who we could have worked with, and there were a lot of companies out there who supply off-the-shelf solutions, and they would have been probably adequate, but we weren't happy with adequate. We wanted, it to be absolutely brilliant because it's our lifeblood. It's the front end of the site. It's the first time a consumer or retailer communicates with the site is by using the virtual assistant. And so the Self-Service Company really stood out because they wanted to work with us as a partner. It was much more about how can we ensure that both businesses enjoy this situation? How can we build a virtual assistant that's going to deliver contribution to your bottom line as Orzo.com? And how can we ensure that we're delivering what the Self-Service Company requires? So it was very much more to do with the fact we felt we were forming a partnership for the benefit of both businesses as to why we selected them specifically.
Thank you. And just briefly, can you just tell me what you see for the future of Orzo?
The future will be about having more consumers, more retailers visit the site, whether it's from mobile devices, whether it's from social media, whether it's from straightforward mobile versions of the site, or whether it's indeed from the full site itself. And we need to innovate. We need to constantly be ahead of the curve, and we need to constantly be finding ways to reinvent what we do and ensure that the consumer enjoys their experience and continues visiting. And we feel that the virtual assistant will grow with us. We feel that in every area that we develop, whether it's live chat, whether it's social media forums, whether it's mobile, the virtual assistant will be a constant theme running through that, because that will be the face and the personality and identity of the site. And so it's essential for us that whatever we do in developing the site and innovating the experience, the virtual assistant and the Self-Service Company follows us along that path.